both Stephen King and William Goldman put into Annie Wilkes kind of every psychopathology known to man. So she really becomes a composite of what can go wrong with a human being. At different points in the film, you see what we refer to as severe mental disorder, to the point of her being psychotic, where she believes that God has talked to her and has commanded her to bring the light to Sheldon's character.
I asked God about you, and God said, I delivered him unto you so that you may show him the way.
When a voice talks to you, such as God, clinically, typically that person is psychotic at the time. They're having what we call an auditory hallucination, which is a false perception.
Can't you see it's what God wants?
We also see at times Annie being psychotic in the sense that she has delusions. A delusion is a fixed and false belief. And several points in the film she's delusional, where she believes that she will become the envy of the world by helping Paul Sheldon redefine his last novel and bringing back misery.
Oh, Paul, you're gonna make me the envy of the whole world.
She forms, in many ways, a delusional relationship with Paul Sheldon, in the sense that she hopes that he will love her as she loves him.
You and I were meant to be together forever.
On the one hand, she gets what we call hypomanic or manic, where she is full of energy, and the world is an extraordinarily wonderful place.
Oh, misery's alive! Misery's alive! Oh, it's so romantic! Oh, this whole house is gonna be filled with romance. I'm gonna put on my Liberace records.
On the other hand, there are some striking scenes where the fictional character is very, very depressed and is suicidal.
The rain. Sometimes it gives me the blues.
And this cycling of mood from a state of mania to a state of depression over the course of weeks or perhaps several months, we don't know, is what we call bipolar disorder. It's what used to be called manic depression. So they have also built that into the film.
Look there! See what you made me do?
Oh, Paul, I'm sorry.
A woman who has probably a very severe personality disorder. A personality disorder is a way of interacting with other people over time that tends to be destructive to the self and to other people. It tends to be very rigid, very inflexible, and tends to create lots of conflict for other people. And she portrays a quite severe personality disorder.
And you better hope nothing happens to me. Because if I die, you die.
Within that personality disorder is what we call sadomasochism, where she takes pleasure in inflicting cruelty on other people.
Trust me.
God's sake!
It's for the best.
Eddie, please!
Also herself identifies very closely with suffering, as she identifies with the character Misery.
Night shifts can be lonely at a hospital. I did a lot of reading. That was when I first discovered misery.
And Misery, throughout the movie, is a double entendre. It has a double meaning. It's not only a fictional character in Paul Sheldon's mind, but it is the sadomasochistic relationship that she sets up between herself and Paul Sheldon.
It'll be a book in my honor for saving your life and nursing you back to health.
Oftentimes, what is most forbidden is most desired. And so individuals that oftentimes have very, very strong emotions, particularly destructive emotions, to themselves or to other people, a way to manage those feelings is to adopt a very, very rigid, conservative moral standard.
The profanity bothers you.
It has no nobility.
And also to rigidly monitor and ride their own behavior so they don't do anything that would be considered immoral or even slightly amoral.
Well, isn't that an oogie mess?
And we see this in Annie Wilkes with the way she dresses herself, with the religious symbolism, the way she keeps her house very, very well organized. We see a woman who attempts to manage her own homicidal and suicidal impulses by rigidly placing these values on herself and on other people.
I stood right up and started shouting, "This isn't what happened last week! Have you all got amnesia? They just cheated us! This isn't fair! He didn't get out of the cock-a-doodie car!"
A character like Annie is very grandiose. And what I mean by that is she's a legend in her own mind. She has this special relationship with Paul Sheldon in fantasy.
I love you, Paul.
She believes that she can do these things to him with impunity, that she is special, that she's above the law.
I put 2 bullets in my gun. One for you and one for me.
And whenever that is threatened in the film, you see her both becoming very, very scared and very angry, and then also, as she has done historically in the film, becoming very aggressive.
I don't want her dead! I want her!
This is a woman who we learn later on in the film has been killing the objects of her envy for years, whether it's her first husband, whether it's the nurse who succeeds her and becomes first in her class, whether it's the babies in the hospital. Whenever there is a threat to the way Annie sees herself, she has become homicidally aggressive. And that's the way she tries to manage this whole sense of her being special and above the law.
Now don't be afraid. I love you.
You see in fantasy, she always is putting herself alongside Paul Sheldon as if she will have the notoriety that he has by kidnapping him.
To Misery and to Annie Wilkes, who brought her back to life.
Oh, Paul, I get goosebumps every time I think about it.
Now, on the face of that, that is absolutely nuts. But in the film, it works. This kind of psychopathology we do see in some individuals who will stalk celebrities. They believe that by stalking this celebrity, they can achieve a certain amount of fame, and ironically they do, because the press will give them a tremendous amount of attention, especially the entertainment channels, and the press gets very excited, about stalkers of celebrities. And an individual who has no life can attain a certain amount of notoriety very quickly by attempting to assault or by pursuing a celebrity figure.
I'm your #1 fan.